I'm one of the interviewers as well as one of the transcribers.
I was an interviewer in the oral history project.
As a member of the Waterloo Center for German Studies, I've been involved in this project from the very beginning, from, let's say, the conceptualization, from talking with members from the community, and for all of us thinking up the kinds of questions we want to ask and the kinds of really stories we want to hear. I would describe the project as a very comprehensive project.
Yeah, the oral history project has 4 phases. In the first phase, we conducted close to 100 interviews with immigrants, German-speaking immigrants with German heritage to the region.
Most of the interviews took place in their homes, so they could feel comfortable and they loved the surroundings. It eased the situation. That helped me as well.
The goal for the project is, first of all, to build an archive, because I find it very important to have these personal stories be preserved. And from that archive and from these stories, we hope to have a book, maybe several books evolving. In preserving that archive, of course, for us as researchers, it means we or anybody interested in the material can work with it later on as well and create their stories around it and their perspectives.
I was interested and still interested in the people and their stories. So I was curious about their stories because I'm an immigrant myself. So my family and I, we immigrated from Germany to Canada in 2011. And I was curious about their experience and what we share, what we have in common.
I got involved with the project partly as my job responsibilities within the Waterloo Center for German Studies, but also because my own personal family history is the topic of this. So my grandparents told me a few stories of growing up in Eastern Europe and post-war stories and such, but not a lot. Now that I'm older and we have some older members of our community who are willing to talk to us about their experiences in Europe, in some cases even pre-war, I'm understanding my own family history a lot more.
One story that really stood out to me was a middle-aged woman who grew up in Europe, and before the interview even started, she said to me, you know, I don't really fit in with this project, I'm not German, I don't really think I should be here being interviewed. And I said, you know, don't worry, I want to hear your life story, and it's okay if you aren't German or anything. And then by the end of it, we asked a question about what they consider to be their cultural identity, and when I asked that question, she said, you know, I'm German.
I've only done a few interviews, and I've done some transcription. But one participant who really comes to mind was this really wonderful older woman and in her 90s. And she was so, the need for her to tell her story was so strong that she actually called me up a few times a week for several weeks and would launch into her story right away. And she just had a really strong need to share it. I was amazed at the facts that she still knew, that she was rhyming them off as though she had read them in a textbook. It certainly has changed me. It's, you know, you see these people in the videos, because I check each video as it comes in. I don't watch the whole thing, but I do spot check them, make sure the video files are good. And they do just look like your normal, average, everyday people. And you have no clue about the experiences they've had.
Yeah, this was worth the effort and the time I spent, of course. I would do it again, and maybe I will in the closer future.
I think it has benefited the community already. I've been talking to quite a number of mainly elderly people who were interviewed already. Almost all of them are very, very positive, almost kind of in a very German way, enthusiastic about the interviews. It was a very good experience for them. It was a chance to talk about their life experience, good events, bad events, things they've learned, things they wanted to pass on.
I think the project will help anyone who's interested in issues of migration to better understand the processes that go into aspects of migration.
the next big benefit I'm hoping, and I'm kind of reasonably sure, will be the book. In the book, we'll be trying to tell the story of the group, not of individual cases, but really this very large and fairly heterogeneous group. And we're going to write the book in such a way that it will be accessible by everybody. This is not a kind of normal research book. It will kind of adhere to those criteria too, of course. It is also a book for the community. Certainly for the people who are in the book, because they were interviewed, I would like them to be proud of that book and pass it on to, again, their friends, relatives, and show it to them. And that would be a way for this book to be out in the community. And those things are beneficial.